الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل.
Welcome to the Islamic Informant. I greet you all with the same greeting of peace that has been used from all the prophets from Adam to Muhammad. The greeting of Assalamu alaikum. Simply this means peace be upon you in the Arabic language. The reason I'm doing this video now is to actually discuss about some of the negativism and other isms and schisms that are coming against Islam and Muslims from people who really don't know anything about Islam. People who are sitting there taking hadith that are not authentic, taking verses that don't even exist in the Quran, and also saying things from propagandist websites and propaganda ideologies and saying that this is what Muslims believe. Well, how can you say that? How can you honestly sit there and accuse every Muslim in the world from a few propagandist websites or from a few actions of some groups out there that do acts in the name of Islam, in the name of God, and they're not really that? If you take a look throughout history and throughout time and people and religion, you'll see that it doesn't only happen with Islam that people are taking religion and twisting it to their own means. You have Jim Jones, David Koresh, you have the IRA, you have all these other groups, Crips, Bloods, Latin Kings, Folk. They all sit there and they say they believe in God. They say they are Christian, but yet they do acts that prove otherwise. But yet you don't have fingers pointing at them saying, oh, look what the Christians do. No, it's just something that people like to do towards Muslims because they speak another language. Well, I tell you what, a person blowing themselves up and killing innocent people is not Islam. A person who would do a heinous act such as taking an innocent life is not Islam. These groups out there that sit there and call themselves Muslims, they also hurt Muslims. Now this is not fair for, people to sit there and just go ahead and generalize all of Islam. And then you want to take a hadith that's not true, it's not authentic. This hadith isn't even, the Quran. It's not the word of God. The hadith is just a saying. Somebody said that this person said that Muhammad did this. So how are you going to sit there and say a hadith that actually contradicts the Quran is true? You can't. That's an oxymoron. So for you to sit there and try to bring that as evidence that Islam is a false religion, think again. Come a little bit smarter than that. If you want to know what Muslims really believe, don't go to a propagandist website. Don't go to your preacher. Don't go to your minister. Don't go to your priest. Go to a Muslim. Sit down with them and say, why do Muslims do that? Or why do Muslims believe like that? And find out what a Muslim really believes. I challenge you to do that. And if anybody really has any decency within them as an individual or as a Christian or as a Jew, they would do that. You would find out that Muslims don't really hate Christians. They don't really hate Jews. They don't really hate the West. I myself live in the West, and I myself love the West. I was born and raised in the West. My family comes from overseas, yes. But I was born here, and I love it here. I saw one other video before, about, he said, I am Muslim. Great brother. I love the video. He's like, I've never even rode a camel. I haven't rode a camel. And I am Muslim. A Muslim is one who submits his will to God. Islam means submission to the will of God. So a person who essentially is submitting their will to God is a Muslim. Now, you want to talk more about, that we believe in violence, that we want to cut people's heads off, that we want to, sit there, stone people and flog people and this and that. Well, they do that in other countries as well, but you don't point the finger out. What about when the IRA does car side bombings? You're not sitting there saying, oh, it's all Catholics that are doing it. Did you know who actually started suicide bombings? Did you know that it was the Israelis against the British? Did you know that? If you think I'm wrong, research it. Produce your proof that I am wrong. The first suicide bombings were being done by the Israelis against the British to remove them from Israel. Now, here's another thing that might be a shocker to you. Did you know that in the Quran it says that if you take the life of a man, it's as though you take the life of all of mankind. If you save the life of a man, it is as though you save the life of all of mankind. Yes, the Quran does permit fighting against those who fight us, against those who are oppressors, enemies of God. A Muslim can be an enemy of God because you do have people that are born into Islam, but they don't really practice Islam. You have people that call themselves Muslim because they are Muslim by birth, that sit there and they kill people. They murder. They commit acts of violence. They take verses from the Quran and they try to suit it to their own need. They take sayings, they take Islam and they twist it. Other people have done that, and I mentioned this earlier. David Koresh, Jim Jones, you know what they did. Waco, Texas, David Koresh had a shootout with the FBI and the ATF, claiming he was a prophet of God, claiming that he was the Messiah returned, right? Then you had Jim Jones, who had more than 900 people who did a mass suicide. He was claiming also that this was the will of God, that this is what God wanted. The people who tried to escape that compound in Guyana, he gunned down. The ones who realized, whoa, 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 we're not supposed to kill ourselves here. He gunned them down. So I tell you this. Read. Research. Ask a Muslim. Ask, what do Muslims really believe? And don't go to propagandist websites. And don't take hadith to me and say this is what you guys believe. No, because I follow the Quran first. And then if a hadith contradicts the Quran, I throw it out immediately. And this is what all Muslims are supposed to do. And if you have some out there that take the hadith before Quran, they are wrong. And I tell you they're wrong, and I will tell them that they are wrong. Now, I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But this is true. I greet you all with the greetings I came with. Assalamu alaikum.